This is the first match of round 2 of the 1v1 tournament. Number 3 James versus number 6 Alasdair. Wow. Their favorite colors are their rankings. That's awesome. 3 and 6. Alright, so we have Teutons versus Persians. Okay, what do we want to talk about first? Teutons or Persians? Let's go with Persians, because that's one of James's favorite civilizations. So, what you're going to see with James, you're going to see trash bows, you're going to see a couple bombard cannons, you're going to see war elephants, elite war elephants, you're going to see maybe some siege rams if he gets in close. But above all, you're going to see him max population, get his researches, and fight. With Teutons and Alasdair, you're probably going to see some Teutonic Knights. You're going to see halberdiers, maybe some champions. Siege onager. You're going to see a good match. This should be a really good match. There might be an upset. Alasdair might hit James before he's ready. James is, in my opinion, always been a bit of a boomer. Likes to boom a little bit too much. So they got their setups. They're just waiting for 15 to 20 villagers to advance to the next age. So we're gonna just keep going back and forth, speed up a bit. In my mind, Teutons is the stronger civilization here. They get siege onagers. Persians do not. They get siege engineers. Persians do not. So Teuton bombard cannons fire further. They both did their selling. They got the gold they need. Now they're getting a couple more villagers and getting their food and going to Castle Age. Ali's on his way to Castle Age. James is on his way to Castle Age. Ali's putting up 3 town centers. 2 town centers for 3 total. James has a 2nd town center up and room for a 3rd. So that's essentially how I do a 3 town center build. That's like exactly how I do my 3 town center build. Doesn't really matter how you do your build as long as you can do it effectively. So Persian town centers produce faster, so James has a little bit of a villager lead because of the faster producing town centers. And James is on his way to Imp. He'll get there just under 19 minutes. And Ali's getting there just under 20 minutes. So James got there about a minute faster. James no longer has the villager lead, but he's going to be his boomer self and build another town center. Soon what you're going to see is him buying stone for a castle, because James likes to have his castle up by like 25 minutes. And Ali built 2 new town centers. And he's going to build more economy on his way to attack. James is getting his researches. He built a barracks and then deleted it so he could get his archery ranges up, get his trash bows ready. He's got trash bows out already. James has Ali has halberdiers fully upgraded, which means all of his infantry is going to be fully upgraded. They got the +2 on their regular defense because the Teuton bonus. Alright, we're going to put it back to normal speed since we're basically connected here. Fully upgraded siege onagers. Got a bombard cannon to try to snipe those siege onagers. Elite war elephants, not yet fully upgraded, but James doesn't usually fight with his elephants except for sending them after the siege onagers. And here, James is trying to take out as many siege onagers as possible. Looks to me like he's got some trapped archers he needs to shoot like right here to free those archers up. Archers do a really good job versus halberdiers. Ali needs probably 15-20 more farms. James needs 4 more houses, and he needs more elephants. All of his trash bows just got flattened. He's only got 3 archery ranges. He needs more archery ranges, and he needs more elephants. He also needs to get that bombard cannon shooting at the onagers. Because if this doesn't improve fast, those siege onagers are going to take out those archery ranges. The archery ranges go down. He doesn't have anything to defend against the halberdiers. He rebuilt that archery range quick to keep them from getting into his economy. That's smart. Take a little bit of damage to keep your economy safe, or as safe as possible. Still not full defense upgrades on the elephants. But with the number of elephants he has out, he's going to be able to push for the onagers a little bit. He's got more trash bows coming out. You need to keep the trash bows with the elephants to keep them safe from the halberdiers. James is fighting with villagers. You saw that in round 1. James was using Spanish villagers to fight. But they just don't keep fighting. Like, if he had kept pushing them to attack, he could have killed probably all of those onagers before those halberdiers got there. But he was focused elsewhere. James is down to 15 farmers. I don't see this ending well for James. I still think Ali needs more farms. Just in case James is able to push back somehow. So if James were able to take out those siege onagers until this new batch of onagers gets there, he would be able to push back a little bit. That's what he's trying to do. He's trying to take out those onagers. But here comes the new batch of onagers for Ali. 8 more siege onagers to the front. James's castle goes down. Without the elephants, he's not going to be able to push the siege onagers. Couple elephants, and he lost 4 onagers. So this is the first game the higher seed lost. We got a bombard cannon down here somewhere. There it is. Bombard cannons annoy me greatly. I normally play civs that don't have them, so the bombard cannons make it really hard to fight. James's economy is toast, but as long as he's got wood, he can keep making trash bows. The only reason you need farms is for elephants, and if you don't have a castle, you don't need farms. But I don't think you're going to be able to push this combination back with only trash bows. Take your bombard cannon, knock down his archery ranges over here. Build more of your own buildings in the front. In random maps, Teutons might not be a very good civ, but they are a very, very strong forest nothing civ. Because you can't just walk around them. Their lack of mobility doesn't hurt them here. Here we go, more forward buildings. James calls GG. First game where the higher seed has lost in this tournament. James is a bit of a boomer. I think he needed another 3-ish minutes to get fully ready for the fight. Still a good match. Good fight, good game. Let's go to game 2. Slavs versus Saracens. 9x9. Okay, we've talked about Saracens already, but we'll discuss them again shortly. Slavs versus Saracens. Slavs have cheaper siege. They get a castle upgrade called Druzina, which makes your infantry do trample damage. They get a full siege workshop except for bombard cannons. They have the best champions in the game, at least if you have a clump of them and they're fighting infantry versus infantry. I actually have proof of that if you would like to see it later. The only infantry that a Slav champion does not kill in equal number is Teutonic Knights, Jaguar Warriors, and sometimes Samurai. They will beat every other champion. Going to Ali in the blue. Saracens do not get Halberdier, but they do have a full siege workshop. I believe it's completely full. Nope, do not get heavy scorpion, but they do get bombard cannons. They do get siege engineers, so they get 13 range for their bombard cannons. Their markets are one of the best parts, where the Slavs do not get guilds, so every 100 wood they sell, they get 14. The Saracen, every 100 wood he sells, he will get 19 whenever the market is fully depleted. So there will be a gold bonus for the Saracen player, but because the siege is cheaper for the Slav player, we'll see who comes out on top on there. We see pretty similar start. Get up 5 farms. You need a mill. You're going to build a lumber camp, so you can delete both your lumber camp and your mill, put up another house where the mill is. Cut there. Make room for a market. Now James is on his way to feudal with 18 villagers. Ali is on his way to feudal with 17 villagers. James got his market and blacksmith up. Ali's got his market up. Deletes the market for house space. James 2 deletes his market for house space. James hits castle age at 11 minutes. Second town center up instantly. Ali's on his way to castle age himself. Hits castle age just under 13 minutes. Second town center up instantly. So, same villager count. Except Ali goes 3 town centers. If any civ went 3 town centers, I would expect it to be the Slav player because the farming bonus would make it easier to keep your villagers producing. He has 5 farms. If he gets a couple more farms up, he's going to be able to keep those 3 town centers producing at all times. So James is just waiting for 1,000 food on his way to Imp. He's got enough gold for 3 mangonels. Just needs a little bit of food. Now he's got onager on the way. 20-minute imp times. Ali's got imp at 22:30. He builds 2 siege workshops. We're going to slow that down just a bit. James builds a third and a fourth town center. And a bunch of eco, which is smart. What he needs to do is build a blacksmith and a barracks so he can start getting his researches. These are very small maps. Very small maps. They're going to be connected very soon. Ali builds a 4th town center as well, so they each have 4 town centers. Ali's got a 10 villager lead. James is putting up a castle so he can get Druzina for his infantry. I would have started researching my infantry upgrades first. Castle is one of the last things that I would build. Ali has 30 more population space to play with. He does have his blacksmith and his barracks up, so he's probably fully researched. Nope, just getting his researches. So when you're fighting against Slavs, you cannot fight infantry versus infantry. If you fight halberdier versus pikemen, their halberdiers will wreck you. Sometimes versus a lesser number of champions, the Slav halberdiers will still win. You can't fight champs versus champs. You just can't do it. 60 Slav champions will absolutely destroy 60 Saracen champions. We got the siege onager upgrade coming in for Ali. Still just at onagers for James. But here is Druzina making his infantry super strong. I don't see a blacksmith yet. That concerns me. University good for siege engineers. Okay. He must have deleted his blacksmith, or I just missed it. But he does have a blacksmith. Champions versus champions. The only difference is most of James's champions went down to siege onagers. This is what I'm talking about. You can't fight Slav infantry with just infantry. You need scorpions, archers, something behind. Also, they have cheaper siege. They need to start fighting siege versus siege. Oh, one shot took out all of his siege onagers. So James can't really fall back on halberdiers as long as there's that many champions out. He needs to start putting champions back on the field. And right now it's basically even. He has 2 siege onagers, so you need to get a couple onagers to take out those. Or just send your halberdiers forward. But you need to take out those onagers and you need to send out some champions. Sell all your wood and only make champions, and you'll win this. Ali does not have a lot of food. Does not have a lot of wood to sell for gold. But he's got more than James at this point. James just lost all of his scorpions. If you're Slavs, you have the infantry advantage, so I would have just built siege onagers to take out those siege onagers, and infantry to fight the infantry. I would not have built scorpions, because he has nothing behind other than the onagers. Take out the onagers, make champions, and push back. Oh shoot, I'm so fast forward. I apologize. I get used to watching recorded games and fast forward, and that wasn't as fast as I normally watch it, so it seemed like normal speed to me. He needs to get an onager here, cut this path, and put more production buildings. He needs more production buildings. He needs more villagers so he can sell more for gold. The Saracen market probably came in huge right there because more gold for the same amount of resources. Also, Ali has 20 more villagers than James, so he gets more gold. And with more gold, he's pushing back. With no bombard cannons, in my opinion, the Slav player should win because he has the clear infantry advantage, and then his siege is exactly the same but cheaper. You need a siege workshop or 2 here, cut this path, build more barracks, make more villagers so you get more gold. Doesn't need the castle anymore except for population space. I would just delete these farms here, build a bunch of production buildings and start coming in from this side. I know it's hard to concentrate on that while you're being attacked. But once he knocks these buildings down, you're not going to have full pop space. He's going to have direct access to your economy. But if you make it so he's got to start fighting here, it might change the game a little bit. Check resources. Ali has no gold. Wouldn't surprise me if he just clicked a couple buttons and sold all that wood. But it looks like he's overwhelming James. He needed those siege onagers out sooner, clear a path. His economy is exposed. We're going to see our first upset of the tournament. It's not a very big upset, number 3 versus number 6, but it's still the first upset. Looks like Alasdair is going to go on to play the winner of Coke versus Always. I don't see any way James can fight back from this position. There's just too many production buildings. He's got too many more villagers. He's got gold. James doesn't. His houses are going down. I'd say this was the best game of the tournament so far. In my opinion, you just need to make the path a little bit wider, get more production buildings on the way. And then if you see your front production buildings going down, cut this, build more production buildings, and keep fighting in your path. He didn't do that. His eco was open. James is down to 80 villagers. Slavs is my favorite. And it hurts to see them lose, but Alasdair played really well. Let's see the final statistics. Yikes. So he killed 100 of his own units. Alasdair had more wood, and because he had more wood, he had much more gold because of the Saracen market. James had a faster imp time, but he got there with less villagers. That's going to end